It's the return of the double Ds, Ding Liren and Domaraju. This is round 9 of the World Cheese Championship with the white pieces today. Gukesh kicks off with pawn to d4. We get knight f6 in response, c4 is explosive, and after e6 we get our old favourite, excuse me, G3, I'm dying with excitement, a favourite here of our old Grandmaster cat, Alan. Now we see the bishop come to b4, checking the king, done with a whoosh, induces bishop d2, and then drops all the way back. Has Ding Liren gone completely nuts? The pressure of the championship? No, fear not. Why has he done this? Well, now the bishop would take 2 steps to ever fianchetto if you wanted to. You know, this is the point. So it's going to have to move a second time. So this bishop hits the Milky Way. Now the pawn centralizes. Knight f3. The kings get out of dodge. Quick king safety high five. We love to see it. And after c6, we've got Ding setting up the overpowered Pyramid of Giza pawn structure, rock solid, and there could be a threat now. Take on c4, b5, bolster it. So the queen develops, defending that pawn. Now the knight develops into the game. Rook d1 always sits nicely opposite the enemy queen, anticipates the advance of the black pawns as well. I was about to say prawns, and then the position opens in favour of the rook. So b6 is now played. Will we see Ding's rook fianchettoing? All is on the way. Now we see bishop c3, bishop f4, also very common. And after bishop b7, sanity prevailing here, we now see the final minor piece entering the game for Gukesh D. Queen c7 on the board, connects those rooks. Very natural. This one centralizes, and rook fd8. Ding, he's got all his bits out. His rooks are blasting. He looks fine. He's solid. He's doing good out the opening. How's Gukesh going to stir it up? Well, before Ding can do any more development, he pushes P over there on the queen side, or the left side as the board, as they like to say now in some of the modern commentary. Can't get my words out here. And there's a positional threat to go c5 and then put this bishop in jail. And that is why we now see the advance of the c pawn here in the centre. Got the old boomerang pawn structure. We talked about this one yesterday. And after captures, natural move, capture towards the centre they play, pawn recaptures, we get one of those absolutely fantastic sights, rarely seen at the modern top level of chess. It's the pawn cube, aka the pube. Brilliant, brilliant structure. Lightning bolt shoot in every direction here. Fantastic stuff. And Gukesh, so impressed, maintains the tension, plays queen b2, going for a double whammy hyper fianchetto down this diagonal here, and pressuring the bishop and opening the eyes of the rook here on the black lady. So how are you going to deal with that one? Well, Ding doesn't move the queen. You know, queen b6 playable. Hikaru pre-moved the old recap. He mentioned that one. That's where I get all my ideas. But instead, Ding rotates with the pony here and he pressures c4. So Gukesh now responds with bishop a5, tricky little move. So he opens the rook and the knight to defend the pawn and creates this pressure down here. Ever so slightly uncomfortable now. You know, no one wants to be sat in pins, right? So d takes on c4 is played, opens the eyes of this bishop, and after knight recaptures, pressure on b6, Ding actually goes a tiny bit wrong here because he should take on c4, top line of Stockzilla, because yes, you hang an entire queen. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. But then the follow-up move here is knight takes on b2, and after bishop takes, the sneeze is gone. Rook recaptures here. That's the move, by the way, not taking a second rook. Black actually emerges, 2 minor pieces for the rook. It's a good exchange. So if we run it back, after this knight takes on c4, best is actually taking with the rook, not taking the queen. Ignore it. This is how the line now proceeds. Now it is a bit scary because you're on the bishop here, but there's this knight d7 move, saving grace. Now yes, the pawn can take, open up an attack, but without showing all the lines, you can actually kick the queen away in a lot of these lines, and black is fine. Takes a bit of calculation, but doable for this level of grandmother, right? But none of that was selected. Ding goes for the very committal bishop takes on f3. Now he's giving the bishop pair and leaving white with a monster. First, this move is flicked in because otherwise knight takes on c4 is another shot, right? So this was played, this, then this. But look at that one. Absolutely scything down the diagonal, right? Horrible color complex control there that black is facing. You know, the light squares. Rook a6 is played to cover the backwards pawn here, but it's now Gukesh that can turn the screw. Now, some of the top moves here are knight e5. Really like that one. Opens up the rook, you know, uncomfortable pin. e3 could come, you threaten knight c6, and okay, you just maintain a bit of tension, right? But what does Gukesh do? And in quite a short amount of time, he's an hour up on the clock. As usual, Ding's been burning through it. He plays queen b5. Now it pressures the rook, but allows the rook to take here. Bye any chances of ever being able to take and force some kind of recapture, have the outside passer. Suddenly, you're now in this position where yes, the material's level, but you've traded your possibly strong A pawn for this weak backwards B pawn. Now fine, if you can make it work tactically, then all good, but Ding comes up with a great move. Just to show you, by the way, why he doesn't go rook b8, looks like pin and win and you're doing great, but actually there's this move. You bolster the knight, and if you try and do this to remove the defender, well, you've actually got back rank problems. So this is how it would go, but then bang, you're getting branked, that's a portmanteau, the knight drops and it's checkmate, no good. So that move was not played, but Ding does come up with the excellent queen to a7, really nice stuff. And this is completely random, but it reminds me of a variation of the king's pawn game, e4, e5, where Ding does this crazy queen maneuvering stuff and his queen ends over up on a7. So he's using some similar themes. Looks passive, but actually it's doing a great job in this position. You've come out of the pin here. This is the really important thing. You know, you're now threatening to take. And the key line is if white takes this pawn, looks so natural, will you chop this one with check, rook recaptures, we're in analysis mode here, back cave, and then rook a5, sliding back. This is an easy detail to miss because once the queen gives ground, you know, pick your square, forgot which ones I was looking at earlier, then the pawn simply drops. It's a bang level position, right? So we come back here, that's why we didn't see captures. Instead, queen b1 was played. You know, it's anticipating this rook move. Queen b3 also playable, but now there's rook b8, putting pressure on the knight. So we do see captures. Now rook a6, intensifying the pressure, then threatening this one here to weaken, destabilize the knight. And now the queen just bounces back, accepting the line. This one is played, given the double exclam, but it's simple tactics really, because after the queen captures, now we see the knight drop. You have to take in the right way, and this is the one to do. Queen takes there. Now these ones are liquidated. You can see where it's headed, folks. We're headed for another draw Liren, draw. They absolutely love it. Somehow they must have got things wrong. You know when they used to do those old-fashioned duels, and they'd each have a pistol, right? And the guy would say, walk 3 steps and draw, then you shoot each other. I think they've got mixed up, and they heard that, and they thought draw, instead of meaning shoot each other, means literally make draw after draw after draw. This is how we're all feeling right now. Even Gukesh is falling asleep. This game, this championship, struggling to spark into life. This is how it proceeded, 3 on 3. One player does end up with an extra pawn here, as we're gonna see. It is Ding Liren, but this is a complete draw. It's an H-pawn, blockaded by the king. This is how the game proceeded, and the pawn was actually given, draw agreed. If you try stay with it, that's fine, but here's an example line. You know, eventually you either stalemate the king or you give the pawn. This is how it could go. This is the final position. Draw agreed by the players. Hope you enjoyed, for what it was worth, of a quite average game. And don't forget to subscribe to never miss a future video. Butchered that one. And check out the video on screen if you want some more epic chess. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.